Hey, everybody, welcome back to this week's version of Ohio Business Spotlight. We hope that if you have enjoyed the versions that we've done so far, that you'll get on the Follow to Lead Tony Miltenberger's YouTube page. We hope that you'll subscribe. We hope that you'll watch all of the Ohio Business Spotlights that we've had to this point. We feel Tony's not able to be with us today. He's pinned down at an appointment in Cincinnati. But the feedback that we've received from these spotlights is number two, every business owner has a story. They've fumbled, they've had success, they've bumped their head, they've had to figure things out. And I really think the community loves hearing what they went through so that they can learn a little bit about the local businesses that are around us, number one. But we're really hearing back a lot from entrepreneurs that some folks that we've had on this spotlight have figured some things out, have come up with a shortcut, or have found a way to solve a problem. And it's kind of been conveyed in these spotlights right here. And I think so. We're going to have a lot of entrepreneurs, I think, that'll be very happy today. I'm super excited to have our guest today. Katie Westerfield is with us. She's the owner of Homeward Bound. You're the first one to ever wave when I did that. I love that. Homeward Bound Pet Care. I can tell you, I have been a client of Homeward Bound Pet Care, or my son has, and I have an incredible story to share about just above and beyond and beyond. But and Katie and I have been in a relationship. We've been in a business relationship here for a while now. Really excited to have you, Ben. Welcome aboard, Katie Westerfield.
Thank you so much for having me, Greg.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited. So here's where we like to start. I kind of gave you a little precursor to this right here. How did you come up with the idea to start Homeward Bound Pet Care?
Huh. It's a long story, but a short one all in the same time. Well, I went to school for several years for something completely different. I think that's what most entrepreneurs actually do. It usually has nothing to do with what they end up doing. Thought I landed my dream job and my dream career, and it just wasn't for me. It wasn't for my kids. I had two little ones at the time. I now have four. Just wasn't for us. I mean, I was ushering them off to, daycare, preschool, and things like that, and then pretty much putting them to bed just to wake them up the next day. I was actually driving with my husband, Matt, out in South Dakota and North Dakota on that whole side of the continent, and just kind of came up with it. I mean, we had struggled with his dog, not having anybody to let him out when I would end up on long, long days on an ambulance or at the firehouse, and just had nobody to take care of him. And it just kind of all fit. It was meant to be a hobby. And it was meant to be a filler.
And how many more years later now?
14.
Oh, wow.
14 years. Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's safe to say we're in well over 2,000 homes in the area. We we've definitely excelled at what we do, and I think a lot of that comes from the strong passion that my entire team has and who we've hired. But yeah, when I first started out, it was tough. It was not easy.
So it's kind of a neat, and you said something funny that resonated with me. If you listen to any of the podcasts at all, you'll hear a lot of people say, "Well, I went to school,
Mhm.
and they just don't have a college course on how to start a homeward bound pet care business. Just like they don't have a college course to how to start a painting business or a tree service business or any of that."
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so you actually had the need yourself,
Mhm.
and how do you hobby that? I'm kind of curious. How does that become a hobby? Was it a side hustle that you saw, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is going to take off?
Yeah. So when I first started, it was literally just to fill, gaps because I wasn't working at the time, and it was just more time with the kids, and when can I work? When can I fill the voids that we needed filled as a family? And then it kind of grew. I ended up getting pregnant with our third child and then our fourth. And by our fourth, it was definitely large enough where we needed to hire. Our clients definitely relied on us back then, or relied on me at that point. And so that pushed me to hire just for the temporary need of when I was on bed rest for 5 months with our fourth. Um, and it escalated from there. It kind of turned into, well, I can do this, I can grow this, I can sustain this and bring our family some peace. So,
Wow. So let me ask you this right here. I think a lot of people hesitate. I think that there's a lot of people out there, number one, that want to be an entrepreneur,
mhm.
or number two, that have a little side hustle going, but they just don't have the confidence that what you said, kind of how exactly I said it, you was like, man, wow, I realize I can really kind of do that. I want you to put your mentor hat on here for a minute.
Mhm.
And if you were mentoring someone, it doesn't even have to be someone who's going to start your type of business. What would you share with them that would get them over that hump to help them to decide to either start the entrepreneur endeavor that they want or turn the side hustle into something that could be full time? What advice would you give them?
Absolutely. I think a lot, and I speak in a broad generalization, a lot of entrepreneurs tend to be perfectionists. They tend to have a lot of trouble delegating. They tend to be control freaks in a certain sense because you've built this. It's now part of you. It is, when people hear who you are, they immediately know your company, typically speaking, or have heard of your company to some degree. And so carrying that weight too, you really just have to learn to let go a little bit. You need to trust, you need to follow your gut when you're hiring. Can this person do what I need them to do? When we started having management, like that was scarier than having staff for me. And that came, at the beginning of some health issues that I had that weren't diagnosed yet. So, I mean, I started the business in 2011. By 2015, 2016, after I'd had my kids and all that, I definitely noticed, memory issues and things that I was struggling with. And stress was a serious component to a lot of that. So managing stress levels, learning to delegate, and just learning to let go just a little bit. Learn how to coach people into doing what you want them to do. Um, and figure out what kind of leader you want to be. I think those are the biggest key assets you can do when you're trying to scale a company. It's not always about profit, it's about who you are.
You just dropped a bomb on our audience right there. I don't even know if you knew it. You said that when you become a business owner, at some point in time, stress is going to enter in.
Hmm.
Yeah, I get it. So you had to decide to trust because initially, even though you had the name Homeward Bound Pet Care, really nobody knew it as that. They knew it as Katie Westerfield.
Yes.
And
And they
now all of a
expected
sudden,
me.
yeah, and now all of a sudden you have to duplicate you. Let's talk to the business owner now that may be in the very first steps of, like you were in 2011. Uh,
Mhm.
what was your magic in finding people that could carry the baton the way on a business that sounds like really started out gangbusters? What was one of the magic things that you use or continue to use?
I can't say it's magic because it's not. Anytime you hire people, you're dealing with people and you're dealing with who they are too. So I think compassion is a big one. Um, it's part of coaching. I mean, if you can't coach somebody and make them a leader like you are, if you're not willing to help them, if you're just expecting meet this deadline, do this, do that, and you're just constantly that person, the kind of boss that you're probably trying to leave.
Yeah, no, that's a
It's
good point.
not going to work. So I would say trust your gut when hiring somebody and really feel them out. If the role that you need that maybe you hired them for is bigger than what they can do, then they need to stay where they are and you need to keep looking. And be open to that. Be open to having to step back in. Be open to essentially recalling yourself back to roles that you used to do.
Sure.
To make sure that you are cultivating the right type of team because you don't want to put somebody in charge of something that just really isn't what you're looking for and what the business needs and what your clients might need. And you're really trying to make sure that people excel at what they're able to do, or you're meeting them where they are. And if they have the ability for growth, or if they want that availability for growth, to help them.
That's great. Is there a specific tell? Is there an indicator as you're working with somebody? I think a lot of people, a lot of business owners recognize when they have someone that does something really good. But I like how you said some people are just good at what they do and simply struggle with the skill set to move up. What's the indicator, or what have been the indicators that you have observed in some of your management staff that told you, oh, this person right here is capable of doing more. There's more in the tank.
Yeah. That's a trick question, I feel like.
Oh,
Because I don't think it'd be the same for everybody. I think,
that's fair.
yeah, I think just being very self-aware. I mean, our company has got very specific needs. Obviously, integrity, reliability, trustworthiness, those things are at the forefront, whether you're a manager or just regular staff with our company. But for management, I mean, we're really looking for that person who is going to go that step beyond, who does have more of the mindset that you carry yourself, in sense of how you want to lead your team. Are they able to do that for you? Are they able to, if you needed them to, are they able to hire for you? Are they able to make those character judgments like you would? Um, like I said, it's kind of a trick question.
No, I thought you nailed
Because
it.
I've definitely had managers in the past where, I think having that open dialogue with them too of, is this working for you, is essential, because sometimes they're going to be like, no. I mean, I've definitely had managers before me where I'm like, hey, it seems like you're struggling with X, Y, or Z. Is it the position? Is there a way that I can help you do those things better or in a different way that works for who you are? And sometimes, it does come down to, do you need to step back down into, regular staff? And sometimes, and almost every time, when we're at that level where we're thinking that, they're thinking that, and they're actually honestly glad to do that. Because I can think of three separate times that we've done that, where sitters have dropped down back, or managers have
Mhm.
dropped back down into a sitter position. So I think giving them the opportunity, letting them see that it may not be for them, and letting them know, like, we're open to coaching you, we're open to helping. I think every person who ever steps foot on my team knows that we want to help them succeed in any way that we can, in whatever position that may be. So I think keeping your mind open to everybody. Don't Every business has the potential to scale. And I
Mhm.
think every person that you hire has the capability of doing that in a unique way if they're willing to do that. So I think even cultivating new positions, that's a great thing about being an entrepreneur, is that you're not stuck in this like corporate world where like this person's got all this potential in the world, but there's just no open position for them. Make it, create it, give them that role.
Yeah.
Because you've had people who are really good with graphics or really good with social media, or things like that, and they just want to do that, but they're not necessarily professional, but they're good at it.
Yeah.
Let them do it, pay them to do it.
Yeah. Boy, I hear a couple things there, and it's an indicator to me of why your business has been so wildly successful. You really seem to have your finger on the pulse of not a lot of entrepreneurs have the finger on the pulse of what's going on with their customers, which is obviously critical. You can't go without that,
Mm-hmm.
but you really seem to have your finger on the pulse of your team. You use words like coaching, you use words like talking to them after you've promoted. Hey, what do you experience? You talk to them about continuously working them, not just simply throwing them to the wolves, but working with them on a consistent basis. That has to be monumentally instrumental in what some of the success that you've enjoyed.
No, thank you.
How many employees do you have?
Currently 23.
23. That's a footprint. That's a big footprint right there as far as that goes right there. So I Do you have any market? I'm gonna make an assumption here,
Mhm.
just because I see you on social media and I know a little bit about. You get a lot of referrals. I mean, a lot of
Mhm.
people. I know that you're my go-to anytime somebody says anything pet related, and it's because of my personal experience. And I'll share, with your permission, a little bit
Yeah, you
of
can
what it
share it.
was. But marketing, have you had any struggles with marketing, or has there been a magic pill that you've kind of embraced, a theory or a process?
Um, we don't really market. I'll be completely honest with you.
I hear that a lot.
Aside from Google Ads, I think our biggest drive is obviously just we've been around for so long now. People know who we are. We're getting referrals from veterinary offices, from rescues, and foster companies and things like that. Where it's all pretty much word of mouth, or people will drive by our office and be like, "Oh, we saw your sign," and things along those lines. But there's obviously a lot of people who do what we do as a hobby, and we're that step above. We are the people that you can definitely rely on and things like that. But in terms of marketing, I've definitely stressed about it. I used to have schedules and all these calendars, and there comes a point where you decide to de-stress. Is it really bringing in what you think it is?
Yeah,
Is
I
that
get
blog
it.
post really going to do what you want it to do? I mean, maybe, but um, to some companies, it's absolutely vital. To ours, not so much.
Well, it's such pets are literally members of people's family.
Mhm.
I see on social media where people have had I've had to have a pet put down before 13
Yeah.
years in the family. They are part of the family, and they are so sensitive to that right there. So I'll share just a real quick. I want you to
Yeah.
talk about this right here, but if anybody doesn't know exactly what Katie does, you can hire Katie's company to take care of your pets stay in your home. Their team comes to your home, whether you just work long hours and you need them to come by a couple times during the day, or whether you're going to take a long weekend and you're going to be gone on vacation and you don't want your pets to go to a boarding place. That's what Katie's business does. My son hired his business, Katie's business, for to watch his two dogs. Immediately had a problem, problem, and the problem was not at all on Katie's side. It was on my son's side. Not one of the locks to his home simply wouldn't open. So my son leaves, and he's gone on vacation. And he's, matter of fact, he's down there with us. And Katie's pet care person comes and can't get in for the very first visit, and everybody's panicking. I felt like, Katie's employee actually was the coolest and calmest among all of us, because all of us were panicking. My son's panicking. We're trying to figure out a way to get him in there. We end up having to call a locksmith, and this is
Mhm.
the unbelievable part. Uh, the locksmith didn't get there till between 11 p.m. and midnight.
Yeah. It's a late
Katie's
night.
employee stayed there the entire time, wanted to get in there. It would have been so understandable if she would have said, "I'm sorry, we can't stay for that. We're way past the time in which we work normal hours or doing normal visits."
Straight.
And she stayed there. And she stayed until the locksmith had allowed her access. And what was the icing on the cake is then the visit was normal. She took the dogs out. Logan got this cute little picture that showed, who went pee, who went poo, which one, how many snuggles each one got, which I thought was kind of cool. And she wasn't and I'm sure she may have been rattled to Katie, but the customer facing side of her was not rattled at all. She was the calmest one in the equation. And Katie was working with me. I was just thoroughly impressed that it went off, and she treated it at the end like a normal thing. It wasn't, okay, now I'm in, it's midnight, I'm gonna do this halfway. She did it exactly the normal way she would have did it, and I was thoroughly impressed. So, if anybody ever decided to hire Katie, that's kind of I set an expectation for you there, Katie. Now,
It's all right. It's where it should be.
but I just thought that was so wow.
Yeah. So
And
your story is not unique. It happens. People's deadbolts blow. Um, and I think we've seen so much in our time as a company where we're there for the emergencies, whether we can't get in or whether you get locked out and you're not even on our schedule. I mean, we get phone calls from our clients like, "Hey, do you have a key to our house still?" Which of course we do. um, and
wow.
can you come bail us out? And so that actually just happened. I think it was just this past weekend, if not late last week, where one of our managers ran to the office in a moment's notice, grabbed that person's key, and got them into their house. So it is definitely something that we do, whether it's access emergencies or health emergencies with your pets. We also deal with, we make sure you come home. I think that's a big difference. And we kind of annoy some of our clients with that.
Yeah.
But we make sure you come home because we've had clients end up in ICU or get into car wrecks, and
Oh wow.
things happen when you
Yeah.
travel, or you just simply misbook the days.
Mhm.
So there's definitely things that set us apart from other people. Um, but yeah, your story is not unique, unfortunately. It is,
Wow.
we do maintain our calm, but we have those things in place for a reason. But you can also rest assured that if, any of your pets ever to get sick or anything like that when they're with us, that we're not going to hesitate to get you on the phone and let you know and get them care. And the care isn't charged for by us. Like, we don't charge you to take your dog to the vet when you're with us or anything like that.
Oh, that's certainly, and it's world class, and it doesn't surprise me that 14, you said 14 years later,
Yeah.
you are still doing this, and it would not surprise me to see your business continue to do wildly successful things. It is so good. It's neat to have people in the community. I love telling stories about business owners. And I think business owners, you encourage them with some of the things that you shared, just with what your experience has been. I want to ask you one thing, and we need to probably start thinking about this ahead of time, but we always like to find other businesses in the community. So if there's one or two or three that you can think of that we may need to talk to that would really be a good fit for what we're doing here, you feel like their management team or their owner may have some tidbits that they can share with entrepreneurs, or you just want to get someone else's story out. Can you think of anybody right off the bat?
Absolutely. Turning Point Health and Wellness, I think, is a huge one.
All right.
So it's actually my chiropractor and my functional nurse practitioner. They went into business together, um, and are bringing exactly what I needed to get better to more people. And I think that they would be really great.
I've got it written down right there. That is awesome. That is
Yeah, they're
awesome.
right
Well,
there in Yankee or off Yankee. So
well, then they're on our list to contact. You can tip them off if
perfect.
you want to, and if you have contact information, please shoot me a text with it
Yeah,
because I
I'll
would
send it to
love
you.
to. This has been such a joy. When we thought of doing this idea right here, we had a list of people. You were at the top of mine, just because I've used you. We've had a business. You've always just been just at the peak of being professional. And it doesn't surprise me that some of the things that make you successful, whether it's with customers or employees, it doesn't surprise me that you've had this success. So, anyway, thank you so much for being on. We are so
Absolutely. Thank
happy
you
to
for
have
having
you.
me.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.